Hello and welcome. My name is Sura. I'm a meditation coach and trainer, founder of Sura Flow. Today, so excited to share with you how to lead a meditation class. Today's talk will include actual logistics of how to lead a meditation class. I think people get a little hung up on the ambiguity of all that needs to happen. And perhaps meditation has touched you in a really powerful way, transformed or changed your life. So you feel called to share this amazing practice with other people. And I think teaching meditation is such an honorable experience. It's really a privilege and it is so joyful. It's transformative. Every time you lead a class, you are transformed also a little bit as a facilitator, a teacher, a leader. And this way of coming together to collectively be in peace and to raise energy is exactly what we need right now. People are longing for connection. They need these tools to de stress and to find greater levels of peace. And it's wonderful that you are being called into doing this kind of work with other people. The first thing to set a class is to find a good time and space that feels good to you. So, this is a logistical thing. And actually, this very simple logistical thing gets people hung up on teaching sometimes because they don't know, where can I teach a class? What time is the best time? The best time is a time that works for you. So, a time that you can commit to each week or twice a month, that's what matters most, is that it fits into your schedule. You have spaciousness around that time. It's not a time where you'll feel stressed and you're rushing around. So find a good time for you and just commit to that time. In terms of finding a space, again, you want to find a space that feels good for you to share meditation. This is a safe space, a sacred space, clean space. Maybe you want to offer it in your home or at a local yoga studio or community center, the YMCA. There are so many places and businesses that would love to host a weekly class. So you're setting that time and space and just being open to guidance and inspiration about, where to have that event. And then, of course, putting together logistics of the event. What do you want to call it? A meditation circle, um, meditation for busy professionals. Have a name for your class and find a name again that for you resonates deeply. Sometimes when we think about leading an event, we put ourselves outside of ourselves and we think about what other people want. Well, what lights you up? What inspires you? Who do you like to work with? Who's your community? Think about that. What's really in alignment and resonant with you? Who are your people? Who do you want to come to your circle? And of course, meditation is for everybody. We want everyone to be able to share in this practice, but it really helps when you know who you'd like to work with, because when you offer something that's specific, those people can say, "Oh, that's what I'm looking for. That would help me." So you're setting the time, the space, the number of times you're going to meet, also the price, right? Is it by donation? Is it free? Is there a nominal cost that's there? Are you going to do a package, 6 weeks for X amount of dollars? And I just want to encourage you that anything goes. There's no rules you have to follow. You don't have to go by what other people are doing. There are general rates. Everybody is all over the place with offering meditation, from free to paid to by donation, sliding scale. And again, this I feel is a process of going into your own practice and pulling from your own practice what feels right for you, what feels energetically balanced. Some people, when they're just starting out, they might offer their classes for free or by donation because they want to start getting practice. And this leads me to the next point, which is you don't have to be an expert to lead a meditation class. And I'm not saying that you should be irresponsible and not know anything. Maybe you've had your own practice for a while. That's the most important thing, is that you have your own strong, dedicated practice. And to really think about that, like if you're not grounded in your own practice and really committed to that, how can you expect to lead others through that process? So that's the first place to start, is from your own practice. And it doesn't mean that you have to assess your practice and say, I'm good enough or I'm not good enough or this, but just know that if you're in a committed, strong practice, perhaps you are ready to lead meditation. And there are many trainings and courses that support people who want to start teaching meditation and facilitating meditation for others. And it's wonderful because it's so flexible. You can do it anywhere. You can do it in person. You can do it virtually. You can host groups or do it individually. You can give private lessons to people. And this is really a growing trend. There is a very high demand for meditation because people now, today, are stressed more than ever. And they're really looking for these tools. So it's really about being consistent. And the hardest part of leading a meditation class, I will say, is showing up every week, showing up that one time a month. Just you showing up and having the courage to show up, to be seen, to be heard, to share what you really love. That takes a lot of courage because maybe people might not come, or just a few people will come. And I want to assure you that the numbers don't matter at all. What matters is your commitment to the practice and to approach this like a spiritual practice. If nobody comes, practice on your own. Do your own practice, set that sacred space. Now, when you go to teach the class, so before then, now that you've got your logistics, the time, the space, the cost, who is it for, you also want to let people know what they can receive from being part of your class. It doesn't have to be a long description. It might be something as simple as release stress, have better sleep, have more energy. Just something basic that people know what they're receiving and what they're getting into. People like to know generally, what is it going to be? What am I going to be learning? And it helps for them to have a description. Are they going to learn focus meditation? Is it going to be breathing meditation? Let them know what kind of meditation you want to share in this class. And again, pick something that you love, because really when you teach, it's coming from your heart. And that's the spirit of meditation. That's what's transmitting. And people will feel that when something's really authentic to you, that is true for you, then other people will receive that. So you want to knock down some of those things. And again, don't be in the mind about this, avoid being in the head and trying to problem solve, figure it out. Just drop into your whole body and your heart and have a beautiful meditation practice, and bring your journal and then just take some light notes. What do you envision? What would be joyful for you? What would feel good? And to trust, what feels joyful and aligned, what feels balanced, because really that's the energy that you're bringing into class. So don't be afraid or ashamed to experiment, try different things, offer different things. People are looking for things. And that special, weird, quirky thing that you like to do, Trust me, there's other weird, quirky people that are looking for that. So just feel free in being yourself. And that's what this is about, feeling free and being yourself when you go to offer meditation. So now that you've got your logistics, be sure that you show up. And all you really need, more than expertise or any kind of extensive training and all of that, stuff, is just a willingness in your heart to share meditation. What's wonderful about meditation is that you can just be in silence. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. What you're doing is you're holding that sacred space with others, and you're hosting that space. So speaking of space, when you do go to lead your class and you show up, it's important to set that space. Make sure that you come early. Come early, clean up the room, organize it, make it nice and beautiful, whatever that means to you. Where there's no clutter. I mean, it's really basic stuff. No distractions, no noise, no clutter. Make it inviting and warm. If that means lighting a few candles or putting on some essential oils, you have to be careful with scents because people are sensitive to smells, especially incense and sometimes sage. So if you're going to do those things, be sure that that's all cleared out, that you've done it well before, because some people have sensitivities to those. And then, or you can ask, when people show up, is this okay for you? I think it's really important to ask what's okay for the group, and not to assume that everybody's okay with lighting sage or Palo Santos, even though those are things I really love. I'm very conscientious about other people's sensitivities. So be sure to come early. When you come early and you set that space, people feel that. That's a different feeling than when you rush in 1 minute before class starts and you're all chaotic and you don't have your energetic space and you're not grounded. Go in there, start early, ground the space, and make sure it's a nice, free flowing space that feels comfortable to meditate in. Have options for people. Not everybody can sit on the floor cross legged like that. Very few people actually have that level of flexibility. Have chairs available, have different options available for people that aren't even able to physically sit. Maybe they need to lie down. So have a consideration of everybody's different backgrounds and abilities physically. That's very important, that you provide a space where people feel physically free to work within the limits of their own body. So you can always ask questions. Does anybody need some help getting set up? Are you comfortable? So make sure you're asking those questions. Take time to welcome people. Now, if you're setting a meditation space, and I just wanted to kind of go through my flow a little bit, and I'm going to come back and answer your questions because I can see that you have some comments here that I really want to acknowledge. Oh, thank you for taking notes. You guys are awesome, Lonnie. Okay, so make sure that you've got appropriate props and different options for people to be in their meditation position. Now, in the description, you want to tell people how long the class is going to be. I think one of the fears that people have is, they come to a meditation class and they don't know how long they're going to be sitting there, and and they don't know if they can do it. So, as a leader, as a teacher, you want to assure them how long the class will be and what they can expect. Now, if people are coming, I highly recommend taking care of payments separately, so that you have all your focus as a teacher to lead the space of the class. So the ways that you can take care of payments separately is to ask a friend to handle the payments and the sign in. And then if you have a waiver, have them sign the waiver, which is a disclaimer. And also, you can have people pay online so they can prepay to reserve their space to come to class. And oftentimes, if you ask people to prepay, they get a discount. So incentivize people to prepay or pay separately. That way you're not trying to handle all the money and the logistics and getting change. And, that's a lot to handle as a teacher. So see if you can separate those duties. Okay. So now let's go into the guided meditation itself and preparing for what you want to teach. And again, like I said, think of what you're offering. What are you offering in your class? What is the theme that's there? Is it peace? Is it to have better sleep? Is it for anxiety? There's a general theme. Is this for busy moms or professionals? Is this for, people of color and diversity? Just think of what that theme is that you're feeling called to right now, because right now you're here because you're feeling called to share something deep in your heart, and listen to that. Trust that. It's not weird. It's not silly if it's different. We need different things. We need diversity and meditation. So if there's something deep in your heart you're feeling called to bring forward, don't be afraid to call it forward. There's a reason why that's there, and take time to listen to it. And then when you're teaching a meditation practice, what I highly recommend, there's a beginning, middle, and an end to the practice. So maybe it's 20 minutes. Maybe you start with 10 minutes. Perhaps it's a combination of yoga, stretching, and then meditation. So then it's, 15 minutes of stretching, 15 minutes of meditation. But whatever that is, you're laying that out for people. You're letting people know what they can expect. So just think about the theme, because the reason I want you to think about the theme is to think about the format of what you're teaching. It doesn't have to be the exact same every week, structure by structure, but you generally want to have a level of consistency that's there, right? So if you go from teaching restorative yoga to a hot power yoga class, it's very jolting. You want to have a level of continuity. And when you're teaching meditation, continuity with those tools. So we're all very creative people, and we love to do a lot of different things and try different things all the time. So it's okay to integrate those things in, but have a level of continuity and consistency. Why? Because people are coming to your class to develop their own practice. And if you change it every week, they'll never have time to go deep inside those consistent tools. So if you're working with focused meditation, work with focused meditation for a certain amount of time. Be sure to emphasize those tools again and again. So in a guided practice, there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is the intro. What is the meditation? What is it called? What is it for? What are the benefits of this practice? What will they be practicing? So that's a basic intro. And you can decide if you want to intro the whole group at the beginning of class, or if you want to have connection time at the end of class. It's up to you. I kind of like to get started myself personally with an intro, at least a small one about myself, and maybe a little story about how I got into meditation, how it changed my life, but not too much. I like to go into practice and have that be the focus. And then anything that's not the practice, maybe after class is a good time. But, starting with that intro, and then there's the middle, which is the guided meditation. And I'm a big fan of free flow meditation, just letting that meditation flow, being open, just speaking from the heart, not having a big plan in the mind. But again, I'm keeping conscious awareness of having a consistency and continuity of the tools that they're learning. So if I'm teaching grounding, I'll start with grounding, body awareness, breath awareness. So I kind of remember, like, even though it'll always be different every time, I am going to touch on grounding, body awareness, and breath awareness. And then there's the end of the meditation, which can be anything. It could be a poem, it could be singing or a chant, something to bring closure to that practice. I like to close with an intention for healing, or an intention for what they want to create in their life, or even blessings, healing blessings for themselves and other people. So that's the end, is the closure, and you get to decide how you would like to close that practice. You also get to decide how you want to open. These are just suggestions. They're not what you have to do. You can open with those things too, right? So it's all a free flow, it's creative, but you're kind of having a mindfulness around the structure and the consistency. And then at the very end, maybe you play a bell and you have chimes. And that's so lovely, right? To be able to play a bell and people listen. And then you might afterwards invite everyone to connect and talk, or just sit in a circle and share about their experience in meditation, what's going on for them. There's so many ways you can offer it. You can even offer coaching, for example, offer some coaching questions that could be there. So there are a myriad of ways to teach and lead a meditation class. And again, all you need is willingness, a willing heart. Now, when you go to share your meditation event, you can share that through communities, your community centers, the health food store, social media, email lists, um, publications that are in your community. So you would just want to have something really clear. That's important, is that there's a clarity about your offering. When is it? Where is it? The details are there. The contact information is there. If they have questions. So this is pretty much it, everybody. And now I want to return to your comments and your questions and see if you have any questions here.